The WNBA.
I will take my victory lap now, please. Please. Because who kept saying the WNBA is coming to Cleveland? That would be me.
You did.
And I would happily take my victory lap now. This is part of a big expansion for the WNBA because we got the Toronto Tempo coming in 2026. We got Portland coming in 2026. Cleveland in 2028, making their return to the WNBA. Detroit is making their return to the WNBA. I almost said WWE.
Yeah, they're making their return to WWE.
But Detroit's making their return to the WNBA in 2029, and then Philadelphia is coming in 2030. But in terms of Cleveland, we had the Rockers from 1997 to about 2003. We got to the Eastern Conference Finals in some period of time in the 2000s, but lost to the New York Liberty. And Gordon Gund, who was the owner of the team, couldn't support it financially, I guess, was the story, and we folded. And now, all these years later, more than 2 decades, the Rockers are coming back.
Well, we don't know officially yet if it's the Rockers. Let's be clear. We think it probably will be, but they have not announced the team name yet.
Correct. They have not announced the team name. I'm just being presumptive and thinking they're just going to bring back the Rockers name.
Yeah, I would guess so. Now, how does the WNBA handle this? Is it like do they do an expansion draft? Do they just put them as part of the NBA draft?
Yeah, they'll do an expansion draft, but they'll also be part of the NBA draft. That's how it went for the Golden State Valkyries this season.
How funny would it be if the Indiana Fever makes Sophie Cunningham available and she gets drafted by the Cleveland WNBA team?
Oh,
they're basically saying that no one really cares that it's coming to Cleveland, which she got backlash on social media. And Caitlin Clark, the star she is, handled it like a pro because, the minute Caitlin Clark makes her reappearance, I should say, because she did it in college at Iowa, back in Rocket Arena now, that arena is going to sell out in 2 seconds. It's going to be one of the most talked about stories in Cleveland. It's going to be more talked about than the Cleveland Guardians, whether they're good or not at that point. And it's good. It's going to be good for the sport. I think they're going to be supportive. Obviously, I think it will depend on how good the Guardians are in terms of how much they're actually talked about, to be honest with you, because we know that this market in their airways will still talk about the Browns 365 days a year. That is my only worry, is at what point are these girls going to get any attention or any airtime on these local airways that we have in Cleveland?
Yeah, that is one of my concerns, but I don't know. Think about this, though. Not only are we getting a WNBA team, we're getting a women's soccer team also.
We are? I did not hear about that.
Yeah, Cleveland is getting a women's soccer team.
Where are they going to play their games at? The Brown Stadium?
No, they're actually building a new soccer stadium.
Where have I been at in the news?
And it's pro soccer team.
A part of the MLS, like Cincinnati or Columbus?
No, but it's funny you mentioned that. Cleveland is getting an MLS Next team, so they'll be a feeder team for FC Cincinnati.
Guardians have some competition, I guess. Luis Ortiz is gonna have to bet on that. They can't bet on baseball anymore.
Oh Lord! But I've been a long time WNBA fan. I'm a Minnesota Lynx fan.
I did not know. Okay, can you tell the story on air real quick? How you became a fan?
It's because of Maya Moore. She was one of my favorite players at UConn, and once they drafted her, I just kind of became a fan of the Lynx. been watching them since they had Maya Moore, Simone Augustus, Lindsay Whalen, Sylvia Fowles. You know, they had a great 2-year rivalry with the LA Sparks where they met in the WNBA finals in back-to-back years. Like I said, I was at the national championship between Iowa and South Carolina. It was a fantastic atmosphere. And you mentioned Caitlin Clark. She's actually going to be a free agent around the time the Cleveland Rockers are coming in.
I will tell you right now, there is 0% chance she will hit free agency. Zero. If she hits free agency, this is how big her star power is. She is on the level of Taylor Swift, that if she hits free agency, the city of Indiana will burn down. Okay? They will be more pissed about Caitlin Clark even hitting free agency, let alone the potential of her leaving, than the Pacers losing the NBA Finals. And I'm dead serious on that.
You mean the city of Indianapolis?
Yes. Did I say the city of Indiana? Well, it is the state of Indiana, city of Indianapolis. They're very similar.
You did say the city of Indiana.
But, I mean, do you agree with me, though? I mean, seriously, there's 0% chance. Are the Indiana Fever going to really Dallas Maverick Caitlin Clark?
I don't know, but, you know.
It would be like LeBron doing the decision, except it wouldn't be on TV.
Yeah. But as a WNBA fan, I'm very excited about this news. Hopefully, since they're going to be playing their games at Rocket Arena, that means more work for me because I already work for the Cavaliers and the Monsters.
Because basketball is 8 or 9 months out of the year. If the Cavs go deep in the playoffs, you guys pretty much have year-round work.
That is true, yes. Because that's what happened with the Pacers. They went to the NBA Finals. Guess what? The Indiana Fever still had home games.
Yeah, now my only question of this is, why is the WNBA waiting till 2028, 2029, 2030 to make these expansions?
I don't know. I guess.
What's this going to bring them up to? Like 20 teams when Philadelphia comes in?
18.
Okay. So 9 each conference, I would assume. Yeah.
Well, I don't know because, I would assume Cleveland, Detroit, and Philly are all going to be Eastern Conference. And you got Toronto coming in. They're going to be Eastern Conference. And you only have one Western Conference team coming in Portland.
Maybe you expand it to 20. I don't know.
I don't know.
A good number. I think any more than that, you're gonna turn into the NBA, which I'm also wondering, not to get off topic, but the WNBA is already instituted into the NBA 2K video game. I wonder with Caitlin Clark now, if the WNBA tries to make their own video game.
So I'm looking at the conferences right now. In the West, you got, in the West you have, or in the East rather, you have New York, Atlanta, Indiana, Washington, Chicago, and Connecticut. And then over in the West, you have Minnesota, Phoenix, Seattle, Golden State, Las Vegas, LA, and Dallas. So, again, you're only adding one Western Conference team in Portland, and then you're going Toronto, Cleveland, Detroit, Philadelphia. That's a lot of Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I wonder if they would move Chicago out west and add another or 2 Western Conference teams to balance it out.
They could move the Chicago Sky to the west, I guess, but that would be weird.
Put Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on opposite sides of the bracket.
That would be weird, though, because, the Chicago Bulls are in the Eastern Conference, and they're in the Cavs division.
Yeah, but the Blackhawks were also in the West in hockey for the longest time.
They're still in the Western Conference.
Are they? I thought they moved back to the East when they did the whole realignment.
No, that was the Detroit Red Wings that moved to the Eastern Conference.
See how much I know about hockey.